Hello, friends. Tuesday again? No problem. How are we doing today? Hey, camera. Oh, that's the wrong screen. My bad. Whoopsies. But how are we all doing today? Hello, Jesse. Thank you for the 2 years. It's been 2 years. Wow. Thank you. Did I get tacos? No, I did not. I didn't. Oh yeah, it's Tuesday. I was never a big taco person. I don't know why. I'm very picky. But I did get coffee because I am insane. But I got hot coffee. I went to Dunkin' and got hot coffee just now because I didn't want the ice to like my vocal cords. You know, when I'm doing a game where I do a lot of voice acting like this, the iced beverages, although there's ice in my water, although it's mostly melted. But ice cold beverages, the cold like tightens the vocal cords and can make it harder to do different voices. So yeah. Chris, you felt like a whale. You got Nuvlet and his weapon. Congrats. Yeah, Twitch has stories now. I noticed that today too. Kiryu-chan. Hello, Cam. How are you doing? How are you doing? Is Risley? How do you pronounce his name? Risley? Is he out yet, or is it another hour? You're close to getting Nuvlet's weapon. I wish fate points carried over. Yeah, they should carry over. Like, it's kind of stupid that they don't. Twitch has stories because every website is the same. Yep, every website is going to have the exact same functions all the time. We got Twitch getting stories. Every site has to get a type of stories. Although stories didn't last on Twitter, but you know who seems to want to make Twitter into like a calling app now too. But yeah, when was? Can we go back to the days of flavor and variety? Twitter didn't last on Twitter. Sad but true. Sad but true, yeah. I'm not gonna get enough primos for the banner. Oh no. 53 minutes till banners change. Nice. Well, I hope if you're pulling for him, I hope you get him. It was news to me to learn that he does not have cat ears. That's a missed opportunity, because his hair looks like he has cat ears. And they should be cat ears. We need a cat boy in Genshin. We have Diona as like a little cat daughter. And then we have Kuching as like fake cat girl. And we have Kirara now as the real cat girl. Variety, every restaurant will be a gray and brown box and consumers will enjoy it. Yay! Capitalism breeds innovation, as they say. The one I have minus Nubla is Alhaitham, Klee, and Kukomi. Those are some good characters. I never got Alhaitham. But I loved I had Zhongli, but I wanted a healer. That's fair, yeah. Kukomi hasn't been power crept yet, has she? Because she's still like the best healer in the game, right? Has there been any 5-star healers since her? I don't think there has. I know there's been 4-star healers and supports and shielders. But I don't think there have been any 5-star healers. Pretty much every 5-star character seems to be like, it's most commonly that they're DPSs at this point, it seems. When was the last non-DPS 5-star that came out? I'm thinking. Nahida, maybe? Because she's like a kind of like a Dendro enabler for whatever. Nuvlet and I hate them for Bloom. And then Bloom plus Klee is Burgeon. Oh, you're building Burgeon Klee? Interesting. I wonder how that works. Baiju! Oh my god, that's it, Baiju. I forgot he existed. Because I stopped playing right around his release. I forgot about him. Yeah. Yeah, Baiju is a 5-star healer and shielder. Yeah. Anyways. I pulled Jingliu. I don't know if I said this on stream the other day, but I pulled Jingliu. I won my 50-50 for Jingliu, and I think I'm just gonna save for as much as I can now. Maybe do a couple pulls for Gwenephen. If I get Topaz, great. If not, oh well. We'll see how I feel about 1.5, but I think I just want to save and build the characters that I currently have. That's where I am in Star Rail. Nuvlet's crazy broken. Baiju, yeah, I forgot about him. But I'm thinking I kind of want to just build all the characters that I currently have rather than getting new ones, because I'm a completionist and I have to make every character usable. As long as I slap on decent relics and a light cone on them, I want them to be workable. You sold the second half of the main abyss and that's how I finished it. Ooh, nice. Yeah, he's a Hydro DPS, right? And is Risley a DPS too? I believe he is, right? You got a cryo catalyst. I think the last time we had a Hydro DPS, well, we had Yelan, who's kind of like a sub DPS rather than like a main DPS. Child is kind of the only other big Hydro DPS that we had. Like, we know there's Nilu too, but she's more of like a bloom enabler, not really a DPS herself. Both are on-field DPS, won't work well in a team together. Okay. It'll be Cryo Hazo. Yeah, he's the punchy boy, right? Whoopsies. He would be the monk in Final Fantasy XIV. Sorry. I haven't played 14 in a couple days because I've been trying to get these subtitles done for this video. I am so close. I wanted to finish it today and have my Rise from the Ashes video done today. I have like a couple minutes left of subtitles to edit, but I had to dog sit all day unexpectedly, and then responsibilities got in the way, and also my brain has not been kind to me the past couple days, and I've kind of just been rotting. But it's fine. But tomorrow we should definitely have the Rise from the Ashes highlights out. He's good at ice bridging. Oh no! Oh yeah, Ayato. I also forgot Ayato existed. See, that's another one. Ayato is probably one of my characters that I pulled for just because I could, and then I didn't really have any interest in him. I was not really interested in Ayato at all. I was like, you know what? I'll pull for him because why not? And I got him. And it's fun to use him, but I feel like he's one of those characters. I wouldn't say I regret pulling him, but I wish I had prioritized my primos for other niches that I hadn't yet filled, because I had Child at the time. I already had an on-field Hydro DPS. But I guess he does work with different team comps. Like, you want to put him with some different characters than Child. Like, you probably want to pair Ayato with Yunjin for the normal attacks, right? And with Child, you want to do more charged attacks, so he's underwhelming? Yeah, I kind of felt that. Breaking my silence. Ayato is mid. Risley is rizzing my wallet. Oh no! Oh no! But yeah, that's not to say Ayato's like bad. He was just kind of there. His alt animation, it is kind of long, I guess, yeah. He, like, raises his sword and, like, causes, like, the rain. Mara Sussy Hunter? What? Oh, yeah. Mara, huh? Is that a new artifact set? Because the name is kind of concerning. I mean, Star Rail has fixed the word Mara for me. I no longer immediately think of the dick persona, and I think of the Mara-struck symptoms and whatnot of, like, long life species now. So that's the main thing I think of when I see the word Mara now, as opposed to the penis, but that's what you call it. But, yeah. But when you say Mara and Sussy in the same sentence, of course my mind is going to go to the penis. I have prototype Ambron Nuvolet for HP. Yeah, he's an HP scaling character. I think that's another weird thing about Ayato, is that he had, like, split scaling. Most of the Hydro characters seem to have, like, HP scaling in their kit. I think most of them all do to some heartbreaking streamer no longer assumes you're talking about shit. Man. What was I gonna say? Yeah, because he mostly scaled off attack, but got a little extra damage scaling off of HP, which is nice. But now it seems like they're going full HP route for Hydro units. Like, Yelan scales pretty much fully on HP, Nilu's Bloom scale off HP, now Nublet, Kokomi heals or HP. You have a signature weapon for crit damage for Nublet. Nice. Man. If I had storage space, I might reinstall Genshin, not gonna lie. I uninstalled it. I uninstalled Genshin and Honkai Impact because I needed storage space and I hadn't played them in months. I know. It's the end of an era. If I had more storage space, I might reinstall them. I'll never pull for a Catalyst, pulls for Nublet and his weapon. Hehe. I associate Mara with the goddess in Skyrim. Oh, is it a Skyrim goddess? That's another game I need to get around to eventually. Lately, I've been getting the urge to pick up Elden Ring again. I never actually finished it. I was playing it on and off a long time, and then I kind of forgot about it. Final Fantasy XIV kind of took over my brain. Yeah, there's like 20 gods in Skyrim. I think because I got greedy and wanted another Staff of Homa. Oh my god. Well, at least you have a cracked Nouvellette now, so I see this as an absolute win. You don't just spend money on additional drives for games you don't play more than twice a year. I already got an additional drive. At some time last year, I already installed another drive because I needed storage space. But I didn't, Genshin was installed on my original drive that was nearly full, and there was no space on that one for whatever updates I missed. So I could hypothetically install it on my other driver and have the space for it, but I don't really feel like playing it right now, so like, yeah. Use your guarantee for Nouvellette. Yeah, you know what? That sounds good. There's a goddess of sex who's a main Imperial Pantheon. Nice. Oh my god. Man. Yeah. Yes, Skyrim posting sex on main! I wasn't gonna use the weapon since I didn't have a good catalyst character, so I decided to get a person who it belongs to. That's cool. Nice. Yeah. And it's like a DPS catalyst. What catalyst DPS units are there? There's Klee, Hazo. I'm trying to think. Mona's like a sub DPS. So it could work on her, but I don't know. Ningguang. Yeah. Are most catalyst units like supports or like, hello Ash, how are you? How's it going? How ya doing? We're gonna go back in time, I guess, to the memory of the Clouded Kokoro. So I'm guessing this is gonna be an interlude between cases 4 and 5 of the first game. Gonna have to do some grinding and maybe swipe for Fiorina. He doesn't count, he's not a 5-star. He's a 5-star to me. He's a pretty animo boy. That's all that matters. I do love pretty animo boys. That was one of the things I enjoy most in Genshin. The pretty animo boys. They're all very gender. Hey, I want Hazo's gender. He's... Ugh. I want to look like that. Klee is very clunky. True, yeah. She's very odd. Yeah. You need to, like, practice, like, dashing and animation canceling and stuff with her. Gender is stored in the 2D, yeah! And I guess also 3D with Ryutaro Naruhodo in the last stream, with Susato posing as the lawyer. She looked very gender in her lawyer getup, so yeah. Anyways, why don't we hop into the game? I'm kind of scared as to where this game is gonna go. Let's so apparently, Mikotoba was not sick at all, and he called Susato home for some reason. We don't know yet. Yippee! Something relating to possibly the names on the disc? Gender isn't a verb? Well, I'm going to make it a verb. I don't care. I am going to verbify any word that I can, because I want to. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I'm guessing, are they covering up the fact that Kazuma never made it to Great Britain, and that the government, the Japanese government, just assumes that Kazuma is the one on the study tour? Is that what's going on here? And does nobody seem to have any concern about Ryunosuke's disappearance? Because he wasn't supposed to go on the study tour. He was a stowaway. So, obviously, people are gonna notice he's not around and everything. Unless, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's not a verb yet, yes. It will be. I will make it a verb. Alright. Anyways. And stretch out my back. And here we go. Continue. Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Oh my god, are we gonna get some, logic and reasoning spectaculars? Because I like that. I like Sean's being all like, episode 2.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. one of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind.
Did we come to an incorrect conclusion?
But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight.
My friend, that's
Then in
Ryunosuke.
the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight, did a second bizarre crime rend
Oh,
the
yeah.
stillness of that very night.
Is he... Oh god.
I dare say most can still recall.
Because there were
the
two
sensational
incidents involving
headlines
Soseki
of
that
the day.
Susato mentioned, so I'm guessing this is going to be the
Haunted
second
apartment of
incident?
death,
Oh yeah, the haunted
the
apartment and
condemned
whatnot.
criminal's curse. The dread demon of coal gas.
Interesting. Progressing the anime narrative with facts and logic.
The great
Yes!
detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival.
You got
at
every
the
Fruit
scene.
5-star since 4.0? Nice.
It only proved to
Is
be
that the bard?
overture that announced the rising
It is
of
the Shakespeare
curtain
dude.
on a most tragic play.
So, this is where Mr. Shakespeare comes into play, huh? Because we saw him in this case at the end of the investigation, and then we never saw him again in the entire rest of the first game. But I guess this is where we're gonna see him. A boss. Ryunosuke is quite a girl boss. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. And now I'm living in his attic. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I've lost my right— Oh, is this not in the past? 4 months. That epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. So I guess this episode is not in the past. Should I change the stream title? I don't want to be misleading. So this is 4 months after Gina's case, I'm guessing? He's hungies. Hasn't worked in 4 months and can still afford rent. Yeah. Just like Phoenix between Turnabout Goodbyes and Rise from the Ashes. Since I was editing that recently, like Phoenix had cases offered to him, but he just turned them down because he's goofy. All these busted my new characters, and I still can't get— Oh no! Oh, it's the console? Huh, that's odd. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Shulman's suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. What's Iris cooking?
Pancakes. I don't want to hear that word again for a long, long time.
It's pancakes for breakfast! Iris is cooking up some pancakes, yes! She made some pancakes for the detective! How do you get so lucky, Cam? How do you always get the most fitting quotes?
That was truly cringeworthy.
Oh my god.
Oh, Runa, good. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this— Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo! This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Warning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, I see— oh. Bro, you're too close, bro. That fucking scared me. Pre-breakfast stimulation, bro. Why are you staring at me like that? The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? Herlock Sholmes. Yes, this is Herlock Sholmes. You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. It's actually his name, yeah, for copyright, because the name Sherlock Holmes wasn't in the public domain at the time this game was localized. Getting flustered during the pre-breakfast stimulation. Always a fun time. It has. And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. Hurley pulled your button off? Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. I love him. What matters at present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. Why was it the third button? Literally, yeah. Where were you looking, my good sir? Where were you looking, Mr. Sholmes?
But Hurley, Luna said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Unless. Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
All right then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
Do you have pancakes too? And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, as published in Ranced magazine. Have we told her about her dead dad yet? Sir! My voice is still warming up. So, Mr. Naruhodo, want to put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Oh, well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun!
Alright, first let's snoop around everything. I like inspecting the scenery. Oh, he's got his thingy back from the pawn shop. That machine really is imposing, isn't it? But I can never remember its name.
Hurley calls it his greater analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all.
That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo. Ow, I think I just... Ow! Ooh, I think I just like scratched over like a pimple on my back or something, not to get gross, but ow. Ow. I'm fine, sorry about that. Sorry? Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. Ow. But how to interpret those results, that's the key. And I confess I have no idea. So it just gives you information and you don't know what it means. Clearly I'm going to have to construct a great analytoscope to solve the problem. That might not help. The violin! The Stradivarius! Wanderer's Troupe would be good on Nouvelette too. Oh, is he a charge attack? Cool. Ah yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful music companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous?
Yes, it's a Stradivarius. though I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one Runo.
But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes? I found it at a pawnbrokery among the forfeited articles. It clearly says Stradivarius on the label. What? The ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see, so I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Sherlock Sholmes, bargain hunter. Oh, he would be a extreme couponer in this day and age. But is it really a Stradivarius then? But of course, my dear fellow, it said so on the label. Can't that be forged? The ignorant broker had something of a turn for Sally. Oh, Herlock. He's a charge tag, okay. Books, papers, scientific implements, these shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. Miss Usada wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves.
Oh, why not? Because it's Herlock's.
Everything's in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down.
Huh.
Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement, right from the outset.
Make it sound like a meeting of great minds, probably because she tried to take something from it. Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. This seems like organized chaos. If he knows where everything is, then it seems fine to me. The chest. A huge metal chest with a lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut.
That chest contains my father's detailed reports of That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
Yes, so I've been led to believe. Though personally, I've never actually seen inside.
And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What, is there a beast inside there or something? Have we told her that her dad is dead yet? When it gets to this time of year, Londoners seem to leave their hearths alight all day long, and I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. But a fireplace in the days of summertime is a waste of space. Really, no use at all.
Rather like a great detective in days of no crimes and criminals, huh, Hurley?
But consider this. Instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think? I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. Holmes just invented, or Sholmes is about to invent air conditioning. I can't speak. The principle is extremely simple. One must, of course, light a cold fire in the hearth. Yes, of course, brilliant. The trouble is, none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me. So as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squib. These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't they, Mr. Sholmes? Not quite, Mr. Norhodo, not quite. Herlock Sholmes invents the air conditioner. Yes, what a genius! These trinkets were selected from cases I've solved with particular aplomb. They are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Norhodo, memories. Really, so tell me about the case in which the bust of Napoleon featured. I forget. Memories, he says. Wonderful, Mr. Sholmes. Is that everything on this side? What are you writing today, Susie? Oh yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle? Oh my god, does she play Summoner in Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes, it's from a case of the theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone.
Real case, it's hilarious. Oh yeah, because I remember when BBC Sherlock started to go even more downhill. Didn't they do like the Three Thatchers or something as like the adaptation of it? Is it like the Three Napoleons, really, involving the busts like that? That doesn't exist in Britain. Taking apart Amber, oh no!
A carbuncle carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see, especially if it's cut with a rounded top.
Oh, really? Some dude hides a super valuable jewel in a bust of Napoleon and they have to smash busts! Oh my god, that's amazing. And this garnet was blue, was it?
Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered.
So the blue carbuncle, the blue garnet, just like default carbuncle in 14. Yeah, we're smashing the bust, yeah.
So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case.
A proper Sherlock Holmes conundrum, huh? Tea. I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day.
Oh, well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice.
When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time.
Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat.
That sounds ominous. Oh, is this bottle always there? I guess so. Typewriter.
I can type with my eyes shut, you know.
I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. I don't trust this tea, yeah. But you know what? She's doing it for science, and I think we should let her.
That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible.
But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine.
Oh no, what a nightmare.
Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
I think you might have just fallen asleep on the job. There's so many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves.
Oh, do be careful, Bruno. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry.
Yeah, don't eat the glass bottles. There might be poison in them. I want to do some... Wait, no. Oh my god. You mustn't try the contents even if you're hungry. I wouldn't do something stupid like that. Boy, do I have news for you about your descendant. The 6 Napoleons, it's this dude who smashes busts of Napoleon because he hit a black pearl in one of them and everyone just assumes he hates Napoleon! Oh my god, that's great. That's great. You haven't got a power damage bonus cup in over a year? Oh my god, it was just, yeah, relics, or artifacts, relics, they all suck. I'm so sorry, man.
Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
He what? If he eated alkaloids, no he didn't because he did. What?
He said he was hungry.
Man. If he eated it, he eated it. Alright. This belonged to my dead boyfriend. Oh, my camera's covering it. Mr. Sholmes, about this. Shh, not another word. Oh yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck, and for winter use. Oh my god, it's a little dog scarf. Actually, it's the armband that I always wear that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Precisely, which leads us to but one conclusion. Your arm is, in fact, the particularly long neck of a miniature canine. What is his hand? The head? Nubla already outdamages, so yeah. Yeah. Censored by camera because it's armband. Ooh! The Adventures of the Blue Carbuncle is actually a similar one. Some dude hides a precious jewel in a goose, like in the belly of a goose. I'm starting to wish I never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. What are you up to this morning? Or, no. Oops. No. This is a letter that arrived from Japan this morning, by international post.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Suze's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Ah, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. And you know what? She's probably more qualified to be a lawyer than you. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in that trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice, you know, in those 2 cases. Okay, when are we gonna learn about this haunted thing? I don't know. Is that gonna be the climactic case of the game? Ah, the mustached twitty man with somewhat feline eyes and the mustache.
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Get his ass. Yes. Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. Yes, so the player doesn't learn anything yet. Very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So, what was this startling news penned by Mr. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes! It's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of the nature did not occur. He's totally for gore. Anyway, in her letter, Miss Sato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume sent to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have had something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Case of a haunted lodgings. Why would that have international implications? I mean, I guess we'll find out, but... Oh. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mrs. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was. Very strange, wasn't it?
Ooh.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must...
So this is the Baskerville case. The Hound of the Baskervilles? Forward-facing Herlock. He is real and he can hurt you. So is this the Hound of the Baskervilles? Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Sato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No, it just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Interesting. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Miss Susato's father is hiding.
Hurley, do you know what it's all about?
He's all dressed. Oh, well, who can say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar's quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fault of my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley. Don't worry. See you later.
Bro just fades out of existence. He scuttled off rather quick. He does seem like the type of man to scuttle. I imagine if he like crawled on all fours, he would like do that cartoon thingy where he like goes onto the tips of his fingers and toes and just like does a little as a way of like moving along the floor. That was not a good description, but yeah. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Sosuke-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Although Susato... Ryunosuke didn't know about the Baskervilles case, but Susato did know that name. And if this was a case they both worked on, it's probably a different one, right? I don't know. Unless Susato was mainly involved in this, as opposed to... I don't know.
Aha! I found them at last!
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. New music. I've never heard this song yet, have I? I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit.
Okay. And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation in the fierce battle. Alright, so I don't get to know what happened just yet. Okay. Reliving every detail, I just needed to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer... What the... This is the resolve theme. Ooh. What the hell happened after Gina's case? Are we gonna go back in time now? It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. Whoops, I think my... No, it's fine. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attacker, but... by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time, and was duly arrested. Sosuke! That man was Sosuke-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes, his arch nemesis. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Sosuke-san in court. And, after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, he finally managed to prove his innocence. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation! Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Rose stabbing has regained consciousness. Ooh. Hurry to Bart's at once. So Susato-san and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. Oh my god, is this her? Does she have like a little like trophy of herself or something? What is that? Hi, rat! There you are at last! Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. It's not a good morning. Yeah, he just said morning, because if it was a good morning, he'd be fishing. You're late!
Shut up, Adachi.
Shut up. Shut up, Ryunosuke. You're late! What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I've been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. Time is relative, buddy. In point of fact, I myself was woken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to... Oh my god, what a petty bitch! Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. Hi, Olive. That is her name, right? Hey, hey, hey! I can't sleep. Yes, waking up in the middle of the night. Someone calls you. I can't sleep. And therefore you shouldn't be sleeping either. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with the knife in her back.
Her name is... yes, here we are. Miss Green.
This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming. Hey, Ryanosuke!
I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe. Used in practicing sketching the human form in different
Oh, is she an artist? It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for the purpose, though, is it? Maybe she's drawing self-portraits.
Hi, Olive. No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, it's good to practice drawing different body types. It's the right tool. You have to draw a full-figured person. It's the right tool for the job. Who's that? Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. That's not First, is it? I'm trying to think if we've seen this face before. I mean, I know First had kind of different hair, but... looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Ace Attorney characters have yet to learn the concept of body positivity. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
I mean, we didn't really get to see him and Kazuma interact much, huh? Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. Yeah, I haven't moved on. This looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. What? Is it just because she is bigger like that? Hey, she needs to eat. She needs to eat to recover, buddy.
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
Unless this is about the rats. For the pigeons, yes, this is a person. Poor woman. I hope she hasn't read this. What's up here? There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you are a patient here, I feel sure you take some medicine by mistake while you were half asleep.
Just like with Iris's bottles. Be glad you're not Feeny. But at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Sato. I'm gonna hold off on talking to her. I want to investigate everything first.
A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo! An enormous mouse!
Vermin in a hospital? What if that's her pet?
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
Remember, kids, put glass and drugs above your head when you sleep. It's good for your health. Very safe. Totally safe. I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you're thinking.
What if that's her pet?
What's this say? This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Do not permit to run around the hospital. No, that won't be Sholmes, because this is 2 months before he got shot. Here she's probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Anything up here of interest? There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet, look. I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole
Why is everybody talking about eating medicine? Is that like foreshadowing something here? So much talk of consumption of medicines and mysterious substances. I don't think medicine would be a good snack though. Like, do they think that would actually tide the cravings? Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Sato. He just needs a Snickers. Because you're not you when you're hungry, the bag.
That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then. We're just snooping. She's sitting right there and we're just going through her belongings. Great. A change of clothes, no doubt, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
Yes, get him, Susato! But the young maiden might have chocolates or biscuits or caramel. Why? What? Why? You're such a hungry boy, aren't you? Good morning. Going through medical records, drug cabinets, and people's bags. Is this why he got disbarred? Man. If you're so hungry, eat the medicine, buddy.
She is an artist. Aw.
Hello, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no! Was it your knife? Are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer. She's got a key to something. She might have biscuits or caramels. Yeah, why are you thinking like that, buddy?
And I'm Susato Mikotoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is I'm trying to be... Oh, it's okay.
If you're making art or whatever, if you're just making something, whether it's just a little sketch or whatever, you are an artist, bestie.
Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist.
You know what? She's just like me, you know? Imposter syndrome. Okay, am I gonna end up... Is she gonna end up being painfully relatable? His special outfits? Extra... Where's that? Back on the main menu? If people using AI are artists, all agreeing can certainly... Yeah, very true. Which one of you stabbed me? Be honest. Is that on the main menu screen for the special outfits? Because I need to see these.
But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed.
No, my god! Main menu special contents and then wardrobe. Okay. Well, this is so sad. I'm not talented, therefore I deserve to be stabbed. I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Alright, I gotta see these special outfits. First off... Careful on the wardrobe! Oh yeah, there might be a stowaway in there, true. Alright, I gotta see these outfits. Okay, special content. Iris's homemade suit. Oh my god, that's his own little Herlock Sholmes type outfit. Susato. Iris's homemade dress. Oh my god, that's adorable. That's so cute. Oh my god, I love that so much. Sholmes' Japanese jumble mix. Ooh! I like it! Nice! Alright, we're wearing all of these. Yeah, we're wearing them, for sure.
Hee.
Oh yeah, achievements.
Alright, let's continue.
Let's go! Can I show... Oh! I got an achievement! Cool, for playing the game in all available outfits, hell yeah! Alright, I wanted to show her my badge, but I guess I can't do that yet. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green. It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick. I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Look at her! She's adorable.
Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here in the hospital, I mean?
Can I zoom in on this? Look at those collarbones and those boobas. I am looking respectfully. Not in a thirsty way, but in like an aesthetic appreciation. I feel like I'm very much like Yusuke when it comes to like this. Like, I am just admiring the human body for what it is, purely on an aesthetic level. Like, no! It's not like that! I'm just admiring it visually. That's literally it. He's even less serious. Ryunosuke in Trials of the... he's a little, Chinosuke bunny on his shoulder. Oh my god, that's cute. Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly by none other than I, Sherlock Holmes. Oh, no! Oops. I called him by the wrong name. Oops. I'm sorry. Sherlock Holmes. Shout out to when my friend was trying to view a different character in this alpha and they had said, hey guys, can you get a picture of this feet? The feet! Oh my god.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard-working court that solved the case.
Feet alarm! No! Feet warning! Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was so...
No, oh my god, I just want to give her a hug. Girl. Aww.
Oh no! We're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Ryunosuke. And we know he says this out loud, so she's probably hearing this, buddy. They were trying to draw the shoes and we called him. Oh my god. What's that key you're holding? So you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts? Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Yes, I need to see the yeah, it's for research, please, I swear. Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually, I don't...
I can find the screenshots of the conversation, oh my god!
I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see, how very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here, and Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Centre. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those of inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Moustache. Inferior means? I suppose Sosuke-san does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? She suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh, Jimmy, do forgive me. I was just being silly.
If you don't mind. I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Is there a narrow fodder? Mr. Narrow Fodder! Narrow fodder now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me. Ah! Mr. Narrow Fodder! Good! This is for you! It's a saucy nutmeg? What? That is an Ace Attorney name for sure. Oh, never mind. It's just him mispronouncing names. I thought that was like the name of a chef or something. Mr. Natsume sent a message to me?
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Sassy nuts. Ho ho. Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? Ugh, what are you waiting for? Let me see that! Oh. Front facing. Hee. Well, this is most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? He says, have you not seen this note? You yoinked it from my hands before I could read it, my dude. It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab! Time is of the essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. That will be entirely convenient.
Convenient?
Send you the foot pedestal. Oh my god, thank you.
Convenient? What do you mean?
Was somebody found dead in the apartment? It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Moustache's lodgings. Wait, what?
I'll hail a fiarce.
Fiarce? Fiarce? What is that word? I'm learning a new word. It was only yesterday that Sosuke-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address? He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Does somebody want him, like, gone? Like, put away, like, for good? I'm so scared.
I have my caffeine.
Oh. It's the Shakespeare dude. That's why we haven't seen him. He was dead. The Shakespeare roommate or flatmate, or, you know, in the same building or something. What on earth?
Oh my! The gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Mr. Natsume. Why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Worm for worm without a wiggle. I see you're on high spirits again this morning, Mr. Moustache. Ah! Not the horrible hairlock shelves!
Shoo! Shove off! Why show yourself the door? I never invited you! Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Moustache. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Rarg! Oh, hey, Toby. Here they are, already. The busybodies. Oh, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant... Good to know that a dead body doesn't take away your appetite. Pleasant, isn't it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes. I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything. Good morning to you too. Sunshine! Oh my god, the sunshine! It's Toby Gregsy. Alright, there's a lot to inspect here. We got the bricked up walls, or windows. Yes, I did say that intentionally. Oi, I said hands off. You're gonna mess up my crime scene. No, I just wanted to look. Okay, I guess I need to talk to him first. You'll mess it up just by looking at it. Someone's in a bad mood. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there? It's like 4 or 5 eating food jokes this chapter. Yeah. Alright. Hi, buddy. What's up? So, Inspector, what was the victim's— Oh my god, Kirsty! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome, raiders! My name is Angie. I play a lot of RPGs and visual novels. We're playing some great Ace Attorney right now. But yeah, how was your stream? How was Tears of the Kingdom? But welcome. How's it going? We are on the second game in this duology. We're on the second case. But yeah, thank you so much for— She was good? That's good. I'm doing pretty well. Just ran out and got some coffee before stream. I got something other than iced coffee, so my vocal cords aren't like ah. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, we're pretty early in the second case of the second game, and yeah, if you need to raid and run, get some rest, do whatever you gotta do. Yeah, take care of yourself, and thanks again. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? You'll be lurking for spoilers. No worries. No worries. Oh, this is an Ace Attorney name, baby! Mr. William Shamspeare. He was a lodger here, as— That could have been the name of the guy, what's his name? Something Rotten. What was the guy's name? Nigel Bottom? Was that the guy's— My stream was behind, had to reload. Oh no! As subtle as a brick wall, yep. Mr. William Shamspeare. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss as it happens, or just dead.
Mr. Shamspeare.
It was the landlord, old Mr. Garadeb, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garadeb got worried and kicked the door down. But doesn't Mr. Garadeb have a bad leg? Oh yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking. Oh my god, just like a phoenix kicking down a door to see a dead body in the second case of the second game in the trilogy. Whoa! Oh my god, are you sure this guy isn't Phoenix's ancestor? Victim's pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. No, don't say anything, don't say anything! Yeah, no money, no place to go, and no friends. It's only acquaintances with the people in this house. Miserable life, and a miserable end to it. And alright, buddy. So what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's just staring at that body. He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Phoenix Wright, descendant of actual real-life author Sosuke Natsume. Whoa! Well, I'm not saying it's because the fella looks odd or anything, or he acts suspicious. But I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the Toby! Don't put this dude through this all over again. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again.
It certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Hey, he's just nervous! Poor man. How unfortunate.
Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been gone that long. The body's still warm. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. So you touched a body, huh? Interesting. Can I, inspect? Yeah, I guess I can't. Still can't say anything, yeah.
Let's talk to Sosuke.
Hi. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences! So the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. You were literary rivals, weren't you? So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? They were rivals. Huh? Buddy? Buddy? What's the matter with Sosuke-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. Or is he afraid that he's gonna be under suspicion if it's stated that he knows the victim? But did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it! Aw, he's understandably paranoid, having just been found innocent of a recent murder.
You're probably wishing we never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come.
Throw that inspector over there!
Oh, I can't touch the body. Okay, interesting. Alright, I cannot touch the body. There's... oh, look around. I can look around now. What is he doing? This outfit makes this pose even better. Look at him! Whoa! Is he gonna have a JoJo posing contest with Soseki? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Oh, is he being an actor? Huh. You need only observe it to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating naturally. There's nothing natural about that pose. He's so silly, I love him!
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience. Oh, he has a different pipe in this outfit, too. Ooh. Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened. Oh, boy. Special deduction time?
My goodness. But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Ah! Why are you acting so freaked out by that, buddy? Mr. Nasame, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me, forget I was here! And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! Oh, I guess that was foreshadowing, all the talk about eating strange medicines. Why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? No, please, pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course. Let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. You've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise! For Herlock Sholmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Alright. I love this music. Cause of death. What is that, cheese? Or cake? Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Oh. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Soseki. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which contains, you'll observe, 1/2 of a what? Dance of deduction. He eated soap. No, he didn't, because he did. No. Why is this soap set so purposely upon the dish, like the victim's last supper, in fact? Yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer. He's like, come on, Sholmes. You're the only soap eater here, aren't you? I mean, he would absolutely eat soap. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. In his little dance, I swear, he looks like he's dancing, taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. You have incredible news? Please tell me he eats this at the end. This is a crime scene, but if he eats this whole bar of soap at the end of this, Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain. For the end, he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. But London's foul soap is just my foul Are you talking about soap? Like, you've clearly eaten soap before if you can talk about the flavors and everything, you know? Do you have a particular brand that you like? Yes, the victim's life was claimed by the poison that tainted the contents of the plate. Poison is just a rare seasoning in this universe, yeah! The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. Oh my god, it's enough! It's not... Yeah, not poison, literally just the soap itself. Though, personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of Falcon. I love this man! I love this man! The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? Ace Attorney characters view poison as a sauce only available at one restaurant. The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's Last Supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup. My lipstick on my hand. Teacup. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Oh, Soseki! He was here yesterday. Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. Yeah, he's like, this isn't the good stuff. I've tasted better soap. Man, this man would lose his mind in a Lush store. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on his words. The fuck is this? This man is so out of pocket! What the fuck? Yes, make sure to make soap your last meal so you have a clean soul when you go to the afterlife. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholm's Great... But don't Shakespearean plays normally have 5 acts? So, like, I'm gonna come in here with 3 and 4 as my corrections, and then after this will be 5. Bye! Gregson! What if Gregson isn't actually eating chips, and that's actually soap? Chip-flavored soap. There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You are disposed to identify just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? I mean, we have talked a lot about eating medicines if you're hungry, so... My friend drew a spoilery comic croissant, made a cake for Herlock's birthday, and he just took the candle off it. I need to see that once I finish this game. Yeah, you'll have to send that to me when I finish the game. Just eating the candle. I love that. It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. With the Minecraft crab and the armadillo. Hi, Blue Peppermint, I don't know what that's about, but I'm so sorry. We'll send all of their art, please do, once I'm done. I can't wait.
How extraordinary.
In truth, wow, what a shocker! Is anyone surprised? In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. What is wrong? Oh no, but they're all spoilers. Oh, that's okay. I'll be able to read them eventually.
And did it?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spit the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. Oh my god. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. Have you built up a tolerance to it, though? It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Oh, okay. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
What's that?
It's Mr. Natsume. I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholm's deductions touched a nerve somehow. Nonsense!
Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last.
I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
What's this on the floor? Here. What's this thing? Yes, Mr. Sholm's observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out.
Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholm's quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Oh my god, a double feature, baby! Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise for Herlock Sholmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Alrighty.
Oh, to Mr. Sholmes!
Let's go. Fell asleep and just woke back up and I feel weak. Oh no! I sometimes feel like that when I wake up from naps too. Like, I just feel not even like a human being. Everyone knows that matinees aren't that great. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this desolate room. Disconsolate! I messed up that word again! He has some eye bags. Is that was he just sleepless, or does that have something to do with what happened? A large dining plate which contains soap. Meaningful, indubitably. Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish, like the victim's last supper, in fact? Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate.
But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap?
Are there traces of soap on the fork? What's this stain? Huh. Oh, ooh! The other piece is there. Look, there's some more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamspear must have really loved the stuff. Yeah, yummy soap.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at this soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the other table?
There's no bite marks! If he eated it, no he didn't. Yes he did, no. That's the right phrasing! I always mess up the phrasing of that meme.
I think there are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
Somebody yeeted soap.
Take that!
That's like the same color as his hair, or close to it. Look, he looks so... But the little... I don't know what sounds just came out of my mouth, but the words. Look at the little creature. It's like a little Kazuma on his shoulder with a sword. Aww. Chunosuke! That's adorable. Do they have plushies of that? Because I might need to grab one. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. Man, this case just got less fun. That's his mascot? That's so cute, I love it! Aww! But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Curiosity is the real factor. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. Is it Chinosuke zine that came out recently? Oh my god, that's great! For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. The victim's life was claimed by poison. Was it in the teacup? Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then.
Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it?
If soap in London's that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all.
Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, isn't it?
Can I... Teacup? Was something in the teacup? I mean, there's droplets of something. Yes, a Western vessel for the serving of infusions of dried tea leaves.
It's a teacup, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. And it's empty.
Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's significant evidence to suggest that he was drinking tea.
My thoughts exactly.
It's gonna be the teacup rather than the stain, alright, I see.
Take that!
Oh, my camera's covering Chinosuke. No! Look at him on the shoulder. The victim's life was claimed by the poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop. What's this? Saliva, then? There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. All the main characters have mascots: Chinosuke, Usato, Bunny Susato, Hairlock, Barris. Oh my god, that's so cute. I need to see the full collection once I finish the game. God, I can't wait to finish this game so I can actually, like, enjoy all the content. Like, I wanna read, like, look at art, read fics, and all that, but I'm holding myself back, because spoilers. But I need to finish this game as soon as I can. The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, which we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? Death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me
is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. Mascots are official, made by the development team. I need to see these.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
Okay. His hat is down there. Whoa, he's holding another cup. Other teacup. It's a teacup! Oh, and it's cracked. And it too is empty. Given he's actually holding this one in his hand,
We can assume that this is the cup from which Mr. Shamspeare was actually...
oh, he's left-handed. I love that part. It's a teacup! He wants to be so smart and pretentious. See, he like tries to play it cool around Sholmes and be like, ugh, this guy, he's so over the top and whatnot, but when he's doing this, he really gets into the role. He loves doing this. But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deduced up to now is turned on its head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
Take that!
Natsume was in here, and he just happened to drop dead at the time.
Did the other man dine and die alone? The other teacups suggest the answer.
Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. Look at that chin. Oh, is that Sean's? At the very least, we can say now with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim.
What are you talking about?
Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. And we're not accusing you of anything, buddy. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can be deduced about this possible guest? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. You know exactly who is in the room? Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. But it's broken from the inside. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap.
That's a great quote. I'd like to take this out of context. But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, I suppose not. Kiryu-chan! Oh my god! Hi, Vice! How are you doing? Oh my god, are these the 3 books that he bought? They are, aren't they? First glance, it seems like the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. These are the 3 books on his receipt. I overlooked them initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read...
A picture of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury Earnings, and a meal for Boreau. Man. Hi, Vice. How are you doing today?
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but... they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
Yep. On the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed.
He had just been to a bookshop and bought them. And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yeah, Mr. Natsume claims to have never been here. He's just afraid of being... I don't think he did it. Or at least I mean, obviously, he's back in Japan, all fine and everything, was not executed, obviously. So... he's just afraid of being implicated, you know? He's afraid of having to go through being arrested and put on trial yet again. You are? Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Words. I don't know words.
What does this mean, do you think? I really don't know what to make of it.
Take that!
Words are hard. Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so! It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth.
Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a secondhand shop.
That's just a... Oh my god, I just noticed his goggles. They look kind of like his university badge. And how do they move so freely? Words. Words have minds of their own. In that case, you will be able to bring in the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment? No, never, non-negotiable. If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Look at that pose! Okay, that was kind of slick, the little... Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Look at him pose! He's dancing! Look at him! 3 books, 4 days, second hand. 1 Hotel Trivago. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor... was you, Mr. Sosuke Natsume. Still one became... Yeah, where is the young Bailey? Thus, or maybe it... I don't know. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholm's Great Deduction. I don't think he did it. So I don't know how this came to be, though. Elementary. Oops. Oh, he's taking one nasty shit right now. With his noise and that pose. Not again. Not again. See, he just doesn't want to go through that again. Not again! I feel really bad for him. Well then, Mr. Don't arrest him, I swear to God. It would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the No! Not so... But wait! Hold your horses! Yes? I love Herlock's DLC outfit because instead of flipping his hat, he flips the mask! Oh my god, I need to watch that again. Door, key, locked, entry, exit, entirely impossible. He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than normal. What? You think that's an alibi? You could've just made a copy. That doesn't have any relation to the key that Olive Green had, does it? What? You live in the same building after all. You'd have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But he's only been here a week. Misery me! Man door, hand hook, car door. Where have I heard that? I know that's a meme, right? I've heard that before. Sorry, Sarah, I'll get you a chance to give your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible Herlock Sholmes! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? Is he going to become Arsène Lupin? Oh my god, Sosuke Natsume's alter ego is Arsène Lupin? Ooh. Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's our carriage waiting. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me, please, please! I'm innocent! Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later. And one more thing. Oh, yes? My poor little kitty. Wagahai! Ah, yes, that's the most important thing here. And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken, Sosuke-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Man. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. Aha! That's cute. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you, because you corrected that you did Ryunosuke. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Wig. I see a wig there.
Yes, that's right. Oh, and of course...
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspeare.
Ah, Mr. John Garadeb, yes.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right, we must remember to go and talk to him later then. Alrighty. I need to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in a moment. So yeah, I shall return momentarily.
I'm back. It's investigating time. Oops, I bumped into my desk.
I'm still getting used to the positioning. I'm like between chair and mic since I can't fully scooch in because of the armrests on this chair, and I like having the armrests, but I also want to be close to the mic for the best sound quality, you know, and the boom arm doesn't work right. It's fine. Anyways, let's investigate. The bricked up window.
As we...
She said it, not me. Well, I did say it.
As we seen from the outside, the window's completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay.
What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in a property? It's extraordinary.
It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh,
What is it, Mrs. Sato?
if you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose.
Ooh. Soap! More soap! It looks as though an amateur has broken out of a few of them just there. Was it Mr. Shanspeare who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room?
Oh, look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it.
What? Outside? Soap!
It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap.
It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what's on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps?
It's more bars of soap.
A snack for later! Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window?
I have no idea.
Was he, like, getting them all, like, cold and, like, frozen to use for his own purposes? I don't know.
But the pair of them look rather charming like that.
Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window? I think perhaps we should take one. There.
Oh dear, I suppose we could.
But this is a crime scene.
Oh, what's this? Look here at this soap.
No.
Do you see in the middle there? There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but...
Yes, it's like ice cream. Yeah, exactly. Ice cream, more like ice clean. Haha. Some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
It looks like the Hinamaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. It's probably a very expensive brand.
Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room? Okay. Oh, we got the receipt in here again. And the map. Does this pop out?
This part is a different color. It's an exquisite design, isn't it?
Trust the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special.
I quite like it. It reminds me of the Hinamaru design of the Japanese flag. I expect this is rather expensive soap.
That doesn't seem likely, given who it belongs to. Picture of a perfectly placed water stain on this towel that looks like the flag of Japan. Wait, where's that from? I don't know if I know that reference. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas.
It's a tumbler post. Ah! That does kind of ring a bell now that you say that, and my nail is, like, uneven. It just, like, snagged on my mouse pad. No! But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they?
Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier. People like, you pissed on that towel. No, it's a perfectly placed water stain! There. And here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins.
I see, yes. Now that you've pointed it out, I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here...
That's right. That'll buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold?
Yes. Or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. Look at these extravagant bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady goings-on.
This one looks like a king's attire.
A king? I've always dreamt of being a king. And now you can become the ace instead. The ace ranks higher than the king in the deck of cards, you know? Because you can be the ace attorney rather than the king attorney. Would you rather be pissed?
Oh, I think he'd be more suited to a feudal lord, a daimyo or such like.
But the Chonmage top knot? Did I Chonmage? How do you pronounce that? Is this what Ouchie was trying to grow?
Oh, you'd look wonderful with one, and you already have the sword.
Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a Chonmage and a sword? What's this? What's this? It looks like part of an envelope, I think. Chonmage? Okay, Chonmage.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
Is that significant?
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there?
She's right.
And yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. We better take this, just in case. Just in case. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they?
Yes. Whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed.
So not Shakespeare, presumably. I mean, the fork was placed in his right hand, which could have been done after his death, but if he was drinking and drank poisoned tea, he held the cup in his left hand, so that suggests that he was not the person who opened this letter. I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
You can never read too much of it, Mr. Naruhodo. Never!
Oh, is that not important? Okay, never mind. Maybe I'm reading too much Sholmes now.
There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and a bottle. And both of them are cracked.
Yes. True! Ah! I'm fucked up the emo. Whatever. Man. Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter?
Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all.
Oh, the wine glass! Because of the wine glass and how he always smashes them?
Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and he should donate some to—
my god, yeah! Get him! He's faking his— I don't know if that's the case. Also, please don't theorize or like give any hints in chat or like anything. I wanna big brain this out on my own. But yeah, that's such a waste of glass. You can suggest it next time we meet, which maybe soon. Is that everything that's other than the body? Well, let's investigate the body, might as well.
Oh, the poor man.
Oh, okay, just talking shit. Okay.
Right, that's fine. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder, do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul?
It can't hurt.
Aww.
She's so sweet.
I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just such an occasion as this, actually.
Yeah, always prepared in case you stumble upon a fresh dead body.
Whoops. The book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment.
There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? The teacup.
Oh, one of the teacups that Mr. Shanspeare and his guests drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's bitter poison inside.
Although the Naruhodo bloodline seems to have poison resistance as an innate trait. Gotta have burial rites on your Kindle in case someone dies in front of you. Yeah, always be prepared. I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna let Phoenix live that down, the glass eating. That is my number 2 Phoenix moment of all time. Number 3 is Bridge to Turnabout. When he fell right across a burning bridge, fell into a fast-moving, freezing cold river 40 feet below with rocky spires on the side, and only got a cold from that. And my number 1 Phoenix moment of all time is only getting offended at the word bottom in April May's insult to him. That's just that's for, I'm never gonna let that go. But the glass eating is number 2 for sure. Cannot wait for me to play Apollos. I'm so excited too. I can't wait to see what other Phoenix moments I'm gonna get from that. Maybe even some Apollo moments.
And the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from.
But Sosuke-san wasn't poisoned, of course. It's so... I have seen a couple sprites of him. I don't know if it's like spoilery, but I do know a little bit about Phoenix in the 4th game. I do know a little bit about his situation. I don't know all the details or how it came about, but I'm scared. Perhaps we should take these. Oh my god, we're really just tampering with the crime scene. Wow. Okay, let's inspect. Uh-oh. Look, you're having a good snoop around, eh? First we gotta inspect these. Cracks. Oh. This one has a ring on the inside. This must be the cup that Mr. Shanspeare was drinking from then. It's stained on the inside. Tea does that, I'm afraid. Even green tea. So this one didn't have any tea in it then, I guess. I've never noticed before. You've never noticed? Well, I never leave it in the cup long enough to leave a mark. I like to gulp it down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it?
Oh dear. So many people seem to have the wrong idea about our culture, and most of them are Japanese.
You can just chug hot liquid like that, Ryunosuke?
This is the teacup from which Mr. Natsume was drinking.
Yes, unlike the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean.
I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark.
I always gulp it down too.
Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold.
Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea.
Maybe there was never tea in the first place. And was it a slow-acting poison? Or, because clearly this one had been sitting out for a while with tea on it. So, I don't know. Hey, we weren't done snooping. I wanted to look at the stage. After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to Investigation Division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, better be I wasn't done snooping, though! No!
Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in his cell again so soon.
I'm sure... Oh my fucking... Jesse! Jesse! Call me Walter White because Jesse! You fucking joking.
What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah!
You're so glad you caught that. Out, brave candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player. You're waiting for this? Oh my god. What is that? That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Bro did a really killer performance, pun intended. You have to give him the silliest. Okay, I'll try.
Now, how soundeth the next part?
What is this pose? What the fuck is this pose? It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed! Oh, happy day! Oh my god, death drop. Wah. Walking Dead! Death drop, yeah! The fella isn't dead at all? What was that nonsense he was saying, though?
I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
So William Shakespeare and William Shakespeare exist in the same universe. Does that mean Sherlock Holmes exists? Because Phoenix called himself Sherlock Holmes #2, baby. Does that mean Sherlock Holmes also exists in this universe? Alongside Sherlock Holmes? Class is starting to have fun with Shakespeare, one of the silliest characters ever. No worries, have a good class.
A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
Shakespeare? So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. Oh, is a Shakespearean actor? Was he like a real person? And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime, whatever that now was. I wasn't done investigating though! I wanted to snoop some more! I wasn't done! Oh, then this guy. Oh, that's not the same guy that was in the jury the other day. He just, I don't know, I think the big chin.
Whatever do you think will happen now?
Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but the victim came back to life. I hope he's not being charged with attempted murder.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume some poison, as we deduced. But it was an accident, attempted suicide, or... Well, was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Is this dude looking at the soap? What's that man doing over here? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's lodgings. Oh yeah, he was arguing with Shakespeare.
Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Hey, friend.
Are you a bobblehead? Bobble chin? He just ran off.
I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it?
I do too, but I don't remember. The soap is on the windowsill. Was that there the first time he came here? I don't know. With the exception of the top floor, where Mr. and Mrs. Garrett live, all the windows are bricked up.
Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows.
The tax system's been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely.
Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done.
That is a sad state of affairs.
Especially like people for poor Mr. Natsume, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room.
I suppose that's the price we pay for living in very cheap accommodation.
It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that.
And then the fence is broken, and the bike.
There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garrett residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment, in fact.
That one seems very warped, though, especially the front wheel. It's not to make it more of a challenge. Ryunosuke, use your brain.
No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly affected.
Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing. Ryunosuke! Hello, Neriar! Yes, Shanspear just woke up. Yes. How are you doing? How's it going?
Oh dear. I fear you may be right.
I fear I may be crazy. I can't go back in there and examine more, can I? The Garrett household and Mr. Natsume's lodgings are in a prominent position there on the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help feeling that it's a bit of a slant.
It does rather look as though it would collapse in even the smallest earthquake, doesn't it?
And isn't it supposed to be haunted as well? I think I may have a hunch as to why Sosuke-san has such a hunched back. The capital. Or is that the Supreme Court? London's blanketed in fog again today, and the sky is covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower oh yeah, the Crystal Tower! I still need to finish that story, that arc on, Okay, it looks like the US Capitol, okay? From a distance, at least.
The Crystal Tower, yes.
The center- oh, and also, yeah, the Crystal Tower is also- the construction is being covered. They're in London, I know! Is this meant to be like a knockoff Eiffel Tower?
The centerpiece of Great Britain's exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time.
Everyone's talking about the Great Exhibition of London at the moment, it seems.
Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself.
Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry?
The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success to outdo the Paris Exposition.
I see. That's an incredible number of people. All to beat the French. And with so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed.
There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruhodo.
He would be in jail several times over if Susato wasn't around. Why has somebody built the snowman on some sort of pedestal? Because he's a very special snowman!
That's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruhodo. That's part of the snowman's body.
Really? But it already has a perfectly good body.
Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is a foreigner.
And now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man. I know how he feels.
If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowmen that are the strange ones, isn't it?
Heh 2 balls. Heh Sorry, I have a child. There was an actual Crystal Palace, but it was built in 1851. The timeline's a bit different in this game.
After all, real people do have 3 sections: head, torso, and legs.
Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? Is that all I can inspect? Alright, I guess so. I can't go back into the apartment, can I? Fuck! I want to snoop some more! Well, let's talk to, let's go here. They haven't replaced- oh yeah, it was only yesterday when this happened, actually. Or like a couple days ago in game time when the fire happened. Here we are again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garadeb's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget.
Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garadeb as anyone, really. Are they gonna have- what consequences are they gonna have to deal with? Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning. Do you have to, like, pay for all his medical bills or something?
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garadeb?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he just spent the night in jail. Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room. Those were his words. Blah, blah, blah. Do you know that he's alive? But oh, he's got a moon. Oh my god, I just noticed he has a moon ring to match his moon face. Oh my god. Let's inspect everything. There's a single apron drying on that enormous cannon-shaped clothes horse. Look. Oh yeah, what the?
No, Mr. Naruhodo, that's a real cannon.
I knew that, I was just testing you. No, you didn't. Piece of history, that is. Seen plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. Now the old girl and I are just enjoying the peace and quiet of retirement altogether. And of course, she'd come in handy if the enemy decided to launch an attack again. Is there a war going on that I don't know about?
That's your military uniform, isn't it, Mr. Garrett?
Well, ceremonial garb, yes. Been hanging on the wall ever since my retirement bash. Not in active service now, you know. Doesn't mean much to me anymore. You could have the old thing if you wanted it.
Well, it might suit Lord Van Zeeks, perhaps. An overly ostentatious outfit like this could be just what he needs.
Very tactful, Mr. Sato. Very tactful indeed. Ah, yes. Those enormous mortar shells. It's quite something seeing them up close, isn't it?
Didn't you say something about firing them into the barracks, Mr. Garrett?
Ah, you remember, do you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. What are you doing firing on your own men? The captain bellowed at me. I'm not surprised. A little mishap doesn't really do it justice. Jesus! Well, one has these little incidents when one's a hot-headed young private. Perhaps I should put some evidence that resulted from one of my little mishaps on display.
Oh, does the great lawyer, like the great detective, want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments?
You need to stop speaking your thoughts, Ryunosuke. You look very dashing in your uniform there, Mr. Garrett. Ah, that old portrait, eh? Drawn by an art student who used to rent... An art student? Was her name perhaps Olive Green?
Oh, you look so wonderfully young and courageous and strong.
Yes, well, the chat presented it to me in one day and asked if I'd let him off the month's rent. Oh, okay. So, I see. Could that be the guy in the portrait? That he kind of looked like Olive, so maybe he's a brother or something. I ballywell did not.
Oh.
A portrait is a portrait, but rent is rent, eh? And yet it's still there proudly on the wall. Good to see Mr. Garrett's Medal of Honor still proudly displayed on the wall.
The inscription reads, "For distinguished participation," if you remember.
Yes, I remember, because I remember thinking even I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that. Hello, Buster. Today you had a funny experience. Uh-oh. Wouldn't know what to look at me now, perhaps, but I had my devil-may-care days, you know? Devil-may-care? What did you get up to? Shenanigans? Well, all in the past now, of course. Oh my god, that's a big text. Very dark person, I went to the library. Tense presentation. Can I get a short psychological book? Because I don't like reading! Oh no! Oh no! I'm so sorry. No! Oh no! That's not. I want to know now. Man, I'm so sorry. You know what that screen is hiding now? The aftermath of a fiery altercation the other day. Don't suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now.
Oh dear. This must be a very difficult situation for you.
Where's Joan? I'll say, people talk about twists of fate and whatnot. Honestly, hope the librarian enjoyed it. Yep, they probably got a good little chuckle out of it. I would probably laugh, honestly, if I was her. But this is a twist and a half, a rotten show all around. He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. Oh wait, nothing with... Oh, are we already... I don't know if clicking the line would do anything different. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. It's kind of passing, sorry. There's a good view over the wintry East End from up here. It's an oppressively gray scene. There's really nothing comparable in Japan. And down below,
Briar Road, partly blanketed in snow. And the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by that knife.
Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it?
I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Imagine how an Englishman would feel arriving on Japan and seeing people with a chomage top knot.
Well, that's a good point. All the, broken... Yeah. These shells look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast. Reminds me of the Battle of Maiwan, don't you know? The experiences of a seasoned veteran. Enemy had us surrounded on all sides. We really thought we were done for, the whole Bally Company. Oh my god, that's a new face. He looks so silly and pathetic. I love it. We were taking a real pounding from their cannon, so all we could do was run for our lives. Oh. I thought that story was going in a different direction, actually. Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for. Ugh. That's not what a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear. That's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there.
I feel sure that it was full of cakes when we first investigated here as well.
Yes, quite right. Haven't touched it since. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Time's rather stood still for me, you know?
Oh.
Time has stood still. Now that's an interesting phrase. I might be able to use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office. Oh, she heard that.
You could just tidy up, Mr. Naruhodo.
Please, you need to learn how to stop speaking your thoughts just without thinking, Ryunosuke. You're gonna get in real hot water one day. Hey buddy, look at this. It belonged to my dead boyfriend. Oh, he has nothing to say about it? Been quite a couple days, as you can imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. Haven't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you. You know what, that's real. Haven't got the energy in the old eyeballs. That's a mood.
Alright, well, let's chat.
Must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened. Ah, but that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bally answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door?
Well, I called to that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Oh! Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that.
Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door.
The victim's name is Mr. Shamspeare, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shamspeare took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose. So hard to choose which category, so... Ryunosuke, stop!
Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
Stop speaking your immediate thoughts. He was doing research as well. Into what? Shakespeare, of course, Shakespeare. But a few plays of the old bar myself, you know, Romeo and Hamlet and all that. Boy.
Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sal in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated.
It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sal, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there? Love wins! Man.
Mr. Natsume is a scholar of the English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shamspeare would have had much in common.
Love wins indeed. Romeo and Hamlet. Ah! Man, I need that now. Romeo and Hamlet. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope he's not dead.
Mr. Naruhodo, really, how rude.
Man, we're getting a lot of mumbled thoughts today from him. Jeez. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning? I knew him well, Horatio. Well, now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. It was completely dark already. The failed actor chap was out at the time. Mr. Garrett had noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shamspeare got back, and the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you, that was very illuminating. Should we tell him he isn't dead? Is everything alright, Mr. Sato?
Well, I was just thinking, it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garrett, you were up here in your room all evening, if I have understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean.
Ah! That's a very good point. Look at this goofy face. I can't imagine you could hear noise from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a belly outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants, why would I?
Then how did you know, Mr. Garrett?
It's the gas, woman! The gas tells me everything! The gas? I guess he knows whenever... speaking gas. Ryunosuke, you dum-dum. I guess whenever he turns on the gas down there. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Yes, I'd more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I want to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly. But at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment. They'd dim? Why? I guess that everything being rerouted.
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual, and that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless. Long worn out, and barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the house. Alright, so by watching the flickering of lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. Well, how did you know it was, Shamspeare and not, like, Natsume? You got it. Ooh, sorry, I don't know why I'm eepy.
Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clever. In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above us use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching these lights here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh. That's fascinating, Mr. Garrett. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh, well, nothing to it, really. And I can't really see that it's gonna help us with the case, either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garrett is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
A good idea.
Alright, bye. Bye-bye. Aww.
Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Welcome student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Oh, yes? What is he? Tell me! Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess. You were talking about Mr. Sholmes.
He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
But his diabolic deductions! They're not of this world! They've left me. Ah, cursed! I'm cursed, I tell you! Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction, too.
Yes, moving on, we have some wonderful news. Oh?
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Oh, he's gonna think that's a curse as well. Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible! Oh. I'm stuck in a cell, suffering from some silly wrong end of the stick!
You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache?
Constant questions! I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, that selfish shyster!
Make up your mind!
Are you dead or alive? If you're going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly wishy-washy William! Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place. Yes, that might make sense now, and I'm pleased he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh.
Oops. Sort of a lively debate. Mr. Natsume, does that mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you? I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. Who do you think I am? Raised eyebrow. Raised eyebrow. Ugh. Why am I cursed like this? Hey. This belonged to my dead boyfriend. Have I shown you this before, Mr. Natsume? Oh, yes! Sweet, sweet aroma of our beloved homeland! It shows that the wearer is a defense lawyer. It means nothing in Great Britain, of course, but I still wear it. It's sentimental to you. Oh, I know exactly how you feel, locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. My Haramaki belly band! I don't feel right without it! Your Haramaki belly band? It's perfect for the cold English winters. Just the thing to keep my tummy warm. Aww. Alright. Let's chat. Alright, Whitney. Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell! But, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back.
It's hard to believe that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings. And that evening at past 9, it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before, it was the first time! Ooh, so you were taking your relationship to the next level, I see. Then, what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Carradip said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I brewed as a gift. Whoops, wrong picture. I meant to... So it was you who brought the tea that had been clearly drunk at the scene then?
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, weren't you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet! Who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare! Stimulating indeed, I'm sure. And the debate became very heated. So you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea.
No, never, not at all. Team Julia won this.
Oh my god, is this like a Team Edward, Team Jacob kind of debate? And then when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it categorically! Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time, I've learned that it's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me, they all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I moved more times than I can remember, and then 1 week ago I moved into Briar Road. But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. Because it was cheap. Didn't you say that before? Mm-hmm. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room's cursed. This is kind of like the same. I feel this dialogue feels familiar. Mm-hmm. So he died.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books! And books cost money! A horrible history is a small price to pay. You know what? He's so valid for that. I too would sacrifice things for more books. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Very real. Brave or blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful?
Do you know the details?
How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady eyes boring into... This wouldn't have anything to do with, the other guy. The guy that was, like, looking into the window. Because if he's on the ground floor, that would have been his window that, that guy in the yellow was looking into. So does he do that to all the windows? Do you think that might have just been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who've died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me! That really is horrible. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night, too. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, I know it. And that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Oh my god, Susato! Don't scare him like that! Okay, well, fair, but like still, like...
You might die if you go to a room like that again.
Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well. You mean Mr. Garrett? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying in there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ah, Perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shanspeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come round and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please, oh, I do hope you're right. Ahem, excuse me. Hey, Tobes. Inspector Gregson! I couldn't help overhearing what you just said, and on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Which do you want first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. And hope is all you have. Hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right. Well, in that case... Oh, fuck you, Tobesy. Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. I always find it funny that, like, anytime in any sort of, like, story or whatever, when someone's like, do you want the good news or the bad news first? Whatever the person says first, the one that they ask for first, always makes more sense to hear that one first, because the other news is based on the other news. So I guess he's subverting the trope, I guess, of being like, you gotta hear the good news before the bad news, or else the bad news won't make sense. Because I feel like that's what Iris's things about, like, the good news is, it stopped raining, the bad news is, I don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, was just unconscious. He's come round now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already. Uh-oh.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness. It's all... A written statement? That's not on the cards. What?
Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shamspeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night. Is it him just... What if he's pinning this on Sozuki solely because he's petty that he thinks Juliet was stronger? Drama in the Shakespeare fandom, taking this guy to jail over it? Sorry to say I do, yes, he's pointed the finger to you, Mr. Natsume. By sweet poison did he seeketh to end my life. That wickedst caitiff, Sozuki Natsume. No! So I'm afraid he'll be appearing in court as planned. I'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations. No! This poor guy needs a break. And so, once again, Sozuki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. To be continued. Alright, let's save. Alright. I'm just gonna do a quick little stretch real quick, because I've been sitting for a bit. I'm just gonna stretch out for real quick. I'll be back in just a moment.
Alright, I'm here. Just had to stretch out my back.
I'm trying to get better with, like, just consistently moving my body. Alright, here we go. Oh. Are we gonna be against, why is my camera, like, slow all of a sudden? I don't know. I don't know why it just looked weird. Anyways. I need to adjust some of the settings with this mic. This mic is, like, all washed out. Anyways. The Old Bailey, this place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. You've been in London for like only a week, and like every other day you've been here. That's a lot. That's my line. Good morning! Are we gonna be against baby girl again? Good morning, Mr. Natsume. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole! Well, neither one of them are technically murders. Can't keep coming to court! I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed.
Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news.
You gonna say bad news around him?
Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Yes, morning.
So, here we are again.
Yes, again. Judicial Assistant Miss Mikotobo Esquires, what's the bad news?
Oh dear. You heard, did you?
If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say!
Oh, I am sorry.
You've done nothing wrong, Mrs. Sato. Now, what is it? We're up against him. Are we?
Oh? The prosecution will be led by Lord Barak Van Zeeks.
Oh, I'm... Oh no, oh no, no. You know, maybe this is why he didn't get affected by the curse, since he was prosecuted twice by Van Zeeks, and so maybe that cancels out the curse. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land, with his slutty little wine glass and his fruity little point. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Sosuke-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth. We managed to pull through, but still. Yeah, the double negative, exactly!
Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter. After all,
no, he's on this case solely because it's, Ryanosuke. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says, nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zeeks is the prosecutor. Oh no!
That even if the person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another.
And we've experienced it firsthand. Good riddance! Whoops. A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal, right there in the Old Bailey. You know, he kind of had it coming, though. Do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes pouring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper! Peril, petrified, perils potentially! Van Zeeks would obviously be play Reaper in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm just gonna start signing roles to everybody now.
Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume.
Susato would be Scholar. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I'm innocent! You have to believe me! You, more than anyone now. Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle, I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear.
Well? The trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom.
Let's go!
Oh yes, I forgot to say, I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Shul-
No! It's probably for the best!
Oh!
If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. That's fair. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zeeks were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least that's my gut feeling.
Mr. Naruhodo?
You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, well said. I swear on this sword at my side and this... Why does every mention of him hurt my feelings? Do it for him, indeed. I need to stop. When does it stop hurting? When does it get any easier, if ever? I've not had this sort of like visceral reaction to like any character being mentioned after their death since Death Note. episode 25. Alrighty. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. Does this judge have a name? Well, it's Santa Claus, obviously, but I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Look at him! All decked out like this! Defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. Nuh-uh. We're not gonna lose. It's not just in my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Zeeks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. He's apparently was betrayed by one and now hates all of them. Bruh.
It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all.
And now he's back in the courtroom. Though, for some reason, only when I'm defending. Curious. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is prosecutor shrouded in mystery. You got this, buddy! Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Sosuke-san's trial. Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? This dude again? Is it this... We get repeat jurors within the span of like a couple days. Absolutely, I defend this larrikin wasn't innocent before. I must say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right. This guy can...
Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing that hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually.
That's not the guy in the picture, is it? Literally the next day, yeah. That's not the guy in the picture. I mean, he's got the haircut. It's because he did look familiar and, Oh my god, we actually have a new juror! Oh yeah, I guess because Miss Garrett is in jail.
I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick.
Were they just on the duty for the week and they had to replace Mrs. Garrett? Couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 bob tonight or the missus will go through the roof. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. Oh, Jesus.
The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt.
6 citizens of London chosen at random. Or at least, that's the idea. Yeah, these all seem fixed or something. Yeah, the ruthless look. Ooh. The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today. Totally not biased at all. Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zeeks, your opening statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? He did nothing wrong! I mean, he ran away from her because he thought she was dead, but he was understandably scared. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling oh yeah, he's accusing him for this. Namely, that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. Stripping time, baby! He's been stripping a lot earlier. The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. Ah, Sosuke Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture. Mr. Natsume? Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken. That you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. I remembered as if it were yesterday. The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough. Oh, believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. The incident occurred at the Gowdep household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim. Oh my god. Accents. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shamspeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine. It was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door. Why did my camera frame rate just die? Huh. This means, I presume, that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident? Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the impossible. Strychnine. Okay. It's one of those words where, like, I've seen it, like, written a couple times, but I've never heard it said out loud, so yeah. The window! Although the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, lives to tell the tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. It's hiding the other teacup in the... There's a puddle. Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased. That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what he was. Oh, it is strychnine? Oh, okay. Okay. Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Okay. Now then, Mr. Natsume. Yes? Yes! As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture? They're haunted. Haunted by... Good gracious, what's haunted? My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings at my lodgings! The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me? What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me! You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume. That's the thing he picked up on. But it's so cold, my runny nose would freeze! The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events. If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point. Conclusive? Go on. Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a whole bit for Shamspeare. this trial and everything. He's just like faking everything for like dramatic effect or something. And then eventually he's gonna be like, wait, hold up, no, that's not how it went down. I was just playing a role, you know? It was method acting. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused. The accused? Good grief! Order! Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. If Soseki-san is innocent, then why has the victim accused him? Well, what if it is just petty that he said Juliet over Romeo? That evening, yes. I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shakespeare's room as a gift. The public water pumps outside always freeze water pump outside always freezes at night, so I brought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result! Never will I touch tea again! Never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before. That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection? None whatsoever, my lord. Good. And you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now. Yes, my lord! It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, and he took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. My tea was completely harmless! He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of poison, haven't they? Yeah, I was wondering that too. Well, as it happens, no. Oh my god. We haven't been able to. Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance. How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It's simple enough. There was none left, not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances. Okay, we can't see any tea spilled. Unless this is... See, the teapot is there. Unless that spilled there. I don't know. We only need a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough. The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question. What about Natsume's own lips, you know? I see, thank you. The matter is clear. Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. Are they already doing this? I need to do my cross-examination. You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't! Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Around 9 o'clock, we visited him and brought some tea. Were you and your neighbor good friends then? No! We weren't friends. Not at all. Not at all! Never, ever! A simple no would have sufficed. Kazuma! You weren't there to give him strength! He's still doing it's like a phantom limb, even if he's not wearing it. It's like he's always there. Aww. That actually makes it even more sad to me, actually, or more emotional. Just unconsciously doing the gesture even when he's not wearing the armband. When will it stop hurting? Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Shamspeare fancies himself as having great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, no Nipponese could understand the finer points of— Bro! And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume. It was the day of on my last trial when I was acquitted. I just arrived back at my lodgings when I ran into Mr. Shamspeare outside on the street. That was at around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No! Not one! Not two! Hiccup. Not any! Never ever! A simple no would have sufficed, I feel. Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room. And then you left around 11. She is. She is. A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you? Shakespeare? Ah, very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh, yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet! Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley. Romeo and Juliet? Who was stronger? I know I'm gonna regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. What do you mean by that, buddy? Is this why the poison was involved? Was he trying to reenact Juliet's death? No. It was Juliet. Was it? No. Which one died by poison? I forgot. Which one died by taking a poison? It was Juliet, right? Was it Romeo that stabbed himself and Juliet the poison, or was it the other way around? I can't remember! It was Romeo that died by poison, okay. Juliet stabbed herself, okay. I see. So he was reenacting Romeo's death, mayhaps. Did Soseki, like, pretend to, like, stab himself then? Mm-hmm. Yes, I did know there were only male actors. So they were doing an authentic reenactment. So he battled it out in the Greco-Roman style, naturally. What? Mr. Shamspeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest. So when you say a reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume? Do you have pictures? Do you have pictures? I mean, I don't know. He's Romeo. Pixar didn't happen. God. I hope there is art of this. One day I will cosplay Juliet Soseki, oh my god! Greco-Roman, yes, also whenever, there were no women allowed on stage. You have doodled this? Oh my god, that's amazing. I, as Juliet, came out on top! Alright, so Soseki was on top. That's useful information. I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage. They would wrestle. It's a meme. Oh my god. The fact remains it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. Yeah. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see. It's true. There was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room. I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? Yeah, lesson learned, don't make friends. My tea was harmless, of course it was! And do you have any basis for that statement, witness?
Hold it!
Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? But what about the picture? And one would think the fellow had never had a pot hot tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze it for poison. Are we sure that this isn't tea here? And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume? Yes, definitely! By heaven and earth, I swear it! The landlord was able to verify that as it happens. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night. And how was the landlord able to attest to this? He, said it was the lamps, I believe. The lamps, Inspector? When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker.
Yes, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants.
There's only one key to Mr. Shamspeare's room, I know that for certain! So he must have locked the door himself from inside his room! The victim has already confirmed that to be the case, yes?
So I'm right! My tea was harmless, completely harmless!
If you take poison, you'll die! Everyone knows that! It's not that simple, I'm afraid. What do you mean? Okay.
Hold it!
How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison's consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. So how is he not dead then? Is it not necessarily fatal?
Oh dear. Death by poison again. It's always so awful.
30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. At what time did they drink the tea, though? Like, as soon as he got there? That further degrades Soseki-san's alibi. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. It spells out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well, the court will add this report to the court record as evidence.
Oh yes, I see it here.
Hello, Hoku! This case is going really well. Silly Shamspeare. I need to see more of him. I hope we get to hear more of him actually speak. But how are you doing? She's wearing the DLC outfit. She's wearing a special outfit. I put Ryunosuke, Susato, and Sholmes in their special outfits.
Delayed onset of symptoms.
Great. Alright, I want to read this. Cause of coma, small quantity, toxicants for 30 minutes. Have been mixed with the tea, but no sample could be obtained. The poison around 1:30 a.m. appears to have broken when he collapsed. No container was found. Did Soseki see him drink the tea? Because if he drank it around 1:30, he would have drank it around 1, which is 2 full hours after Soseki left. And didn't Garrett say something about him being up until 1 last night? He could tell that this guy was up around until around 1.
Hold it!
The argument still stands, you say? This is what Mr. Natsume has been saying, isn't it? The pair of them drank tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim wouldn't have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly! Yeah, me and my tea are innocent! Sweet and innocent, I tell you! I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for symptoms to appear. So you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. As long as he did that, Mr. Shamspeare could have locked the door after you're gone. But no, we drank the tea straight. That's important. The battle over whether Romeo or Juliet was stronger came after the tea. That came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement? In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying. Drink tea while it's hot. Oh, that's what he said. The proverb to satisfy the prosecution. I'm afraid there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer his guilt in the matter. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo?
Of course, go ahead.
Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently, yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating.
I agree. I think he was trying to use the country's shared love of— yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah. An inconsistency of what his inspector is saying. Probably something to do with the time. The poison in the tea, yeah. The time. Takes some time. Victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. I think it might have something to do with the report, because according to Natsume, they drank the tea and then did their whole debate thing. And then, I'm just gonna press this again and see if anything changes. I doubt it will. But he, then left. And the onset of the poison symptoms came at about— oh wait, we don't have the side-by-side thing anymore. The symptoms came at about 1:30. Would I present it against this? Although they made it sound like I would have to point out an inconsistency in Gregson's statement. But he went back out around 11, and then but this is something with the poison. Or I could do this. Because he hadn't, based on what he said.
Hold it!
Right, I'll try the death report, or victim report, yeah. It takes time. Up to 30 minutes. That's not being added to the testimony or anything, but... Alright, yeah. So I'll try the report on the last statement. Alright, let's try this.
Objection!
Okay, yeah. The argument still stands, you say? I think not, Inspector. Come again. I think you'll find that you've overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. What? What do you want about? But then if they do this and see that it's not strychnine and it's a different type of poison, then, I don't know. According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. Ah! Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. Ugh. In other words, If there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 hours after the defendant left? I'm so sorry. I need to run to the bathroom. I know now is not a good time, but I need to run to the bathroom. I'm so sorry. I'll be back in a moment.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Anyways, time frame. Oh my god, first drink of the night, baby. Bottoms up. What are we toasting to? What are we toasting to this time, buddy? Or are you gonna break it already? He would have poured it and immediately break it. Pray forgive, the discourtesy of my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would be best to complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. Are you hungry? How could it have happened, you ask? He didn't even drink from that at all! He just poured it out and didn't even drink from it. Oh my god. What a waste. Sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm hungry. Literally. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? Sasuke literally said they drank the tea together. For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30. Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there's a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot.
Objection!
And in my country, there is an even more apt saying. There is nothing more refreshing than iced tea, are you talking about? But hot tea turning, like, room temperature just sounds gross. The point is, since there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned, other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, Counsel? The eyes. Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend, from someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Do you think that man, William Shakespeare, had friends? The victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You suggest this may have been a suicide, Counsel?
Objection!
Mr. Shakespeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted. The weak slap. But he could be lying! Oh my god, he's grasping at straws. Van Zeeks is disappointed in him. He's like, my expectations were low, but you've managed to bury beneath the ground. I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What not another carriage. Is this one gonna burn down too? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. He's gotta make a dramatic entrance, obviously. And he better be pursued by a bear when he makes his exit. Out, a brave candle! Life's but a walking shadow! A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. What? Look at this fucking show! Why does everyone JoJo pose in this game? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Oh, sir, are you? Bruh, that's the victim. William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. He has the most sprites out of every character. Oh my god, I love him already. Just with that knowledge. That's a real-life thespian. Oh, that was our first Ryunosuke death. They went nuts. I cannot wait to see this. The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. You're calling him as a witness? I honestly hope that this is just him being petty over Soseki winning their little debate and thinking that Juliet was stronger. That would be the funniest outcome of this. And that's why he's insisting it was Soseki. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Happy am I, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell, my own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence in perfect English. That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim. Oh, I can't wait for this. Oh, why is that guy here? Is he like an entourage? This dude is always spying on him. Who's that other man beside him?
Yes, I think. I feel sure that we've caught a glimpse of that man before.
State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses. Writer of words so sweet they do scent the breeze, an inventor of ideas so profound they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Were the great bard to be recalled to life anew? Lo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle, William Shakespeare. He totally chose that name for himself. Valid. The name's Meterman. Adrian B. Meterman. Meterman, very, very on the nose. I work for the Alamont Gas Company, East End Branch Office.
Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road.
Oh yes, she's right. It's him. Nice to meet you, Hungry. This guy. And his little Newsies outfit. His real name is Billy Bob Jones! Stop! Stop. Looks like he's trying to see into Sosuke-san's lodgings.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Excuse me, could we have a word? Wow, bobblehead! Ah! I'm getting eepy. Hi, getting eepy, I'm Mom. Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrett's house that morning. And he's a gas company employee. What does he have to do with this case? So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct? Oh heaven, oh hell! Do you command me to remember? That sweet poison that didst cross me, and cross mine innocent lips. I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the agreed will remove any room for doubt from the jurors' minds, I'm sure. Behold! You have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me's a seraph, an angel indeed! Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, or as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name. No, not at all. Is getting ECEP person, yes. It's also, every time I move and readjust my position, I see my camera, I think the frame rate goes down a little bit. That's weird. That is very weird. I might need to adjust some lighting settings and whatnot. I know my mic is kind of washed out, so I might need to do some adjustments and stuff later. He would, he could have spelled seraphim, indeed. But me's a seraph is funnier. The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. Aww. They're actually taking the seraph anagram idea seriously. Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions. But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shamspear doing here? The gas man, I mean. What, me? No? Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You'll recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence. When you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover that the victim is a compulsive liar. What? No, I didn't quite say that. This young chin stroker is here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Right, the sillier stance. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman? Hang on, no. I'm just here. I hereby call for your formal testimonies. We'll tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question. Let me smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that wintry night of my discontent. I bet he wishes he had a bushy beard to make that even stronger. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbour did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, not else. Aw, man. So you didn't kiss Natsume. What a shame. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella. Beards are itchy. Ooh, not North Devil, more oof. What did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspear's room all night? Wow, fan behavior. That's right, of course. The bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? There's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. The question is, sir, why? No, it's because he's on my list. What a piece of work is man! Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make no more ado about his tedious words. Oh my god, he looks like a bumblebee with this. Is that intentional with this bag when he bends over like that? He's like a bee sticking out the what is that, the thorax? That is intentional? Oh my god, it's great. I love it. What you say about me? The handkerchiefs are wings, that's great. Calm yourself. So that's why his initial is B, his middle initial is B. For his full name is, what is it? That's why his name is B. His full name is Aldrin Barry B. Benson Meterman. It all makes sense. Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. A drone bee! I see. He's just a little worker bee. Nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. How are we sure it's not Barry B. Benson? That's what I'm gonna call him in my head, I just know it. A drone B. Meter Man. I love their names. Yes, I love Ace. I was literally telling my family about Ace Attorney names earlier today. I was telling them about some of the pun names. It was quite amusing. I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. No, it's too early! Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord! His job, yeah, this is his job, right? To check, like, the gas meters and stuff? Yeah. Snow lay about, my neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sire! Perchance there was that I call him the man from upstairs? And at what time did the mustached Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the... What the fuck was that? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9. And how did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea? Details of which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. Had you been embroiled in such a literary debacle as history had not seen before? By which I presume he means... their discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. But does he think I called him something other than thespian? I have a thespian standing right beside me on the bench here. Ottoman is also a Sherlock Holmes reference. Oh my god. Hey, I love hearing about all these Sherlock references. I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as what our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. I'm sure it was beautiful. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the eastern art of jiu-jitsu, but... Oh my god, is he doing the cat girl? Ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Yeah. Oh my god. Juliet beat Romeo up? You know what? Are you truly rivals if we don't have a homoerotic battle at some point? They truly became rivals that evening after their little battle. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Hopefully that's not a euphemism for something else. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. I'd have to say, if that part was if that was part of the play. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I will do thy bidding. My voice for him is all over the goddamn place.
Hold it!
Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock. But it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. What the fuck is it? My god, it's the white. I need to fix the lighting. What is he doing? What in the fuck is he doing? What is this? And he's just not acknowledging that. Yeah, I think I need to adjust my lighting and stuff so it doesn't like white out or anything when I move. I think that's the issue with my camera going all wonky. Did the defendant really put the poison in your tea? That 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Is he still dancing? Gladly. 'Tis an easy task. What? Were you just doing this whole time? I did drink of the tea, not while my guests did terrific. I can't do this, I can't do this. Heard that Shansbury is actually the first character they did motion. Oh my god, that's actually insane. Oh my god, give the actor a raise. Like they put in the work. I didn't drink of the tea, not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Man, him doing this versus Sholmes doing his little punchy dance. Who's winning? My money's on him. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
You should have invited him back to give you a little smoochie. That doesn't sound normal! Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire, after all. Thou wants to recall our fiery debates amidst such... They actually have a silly off. Oh my god, yes! Yes, him versus Sholmes. Who's winning the silly off? Romeo and Juliet again, and who was stronger? Mr. Shamspeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? I'm not sure, but I know what happens, yes. But of course, my liege, 'twas the stooped lover of words did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. Not else.
Hold it!
So you didn't have any kind of evening meal, dinner, supper? Fie on luxury, fie on gluttony! To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time! Sorry? I would bet I would that my belly were full more. What the fuck? Man, he's got hops. I would that my belly were full no more oft than the sun doth rise. Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Night and day do I fill my hours with the learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence it is that there doth not chamber. There does not. Hence it is that there doth not in my chamber be then the costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room.
Now that I think about it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single player script anywhere.
Man, he goes all out on the costumes, you know what? Good for him. For I have... He ate this... What? So he doesn't eat soap, but he does eat paper. You know what? I wouldn't put it past him to actually eat soap. If he's eating paper, then... Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine... Yeah, I can definitely see him eating soap. Nah, boy. Could you turn around? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. You go with the poems on the... You know what? That's fair, yeah. Sits outside his bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keep an eye on his room.
Hold it!
But the windows of that house have all been filled in.
A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax.
Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little pot of brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking through that gap.
Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there?
And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside. I don't like go around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's me orders, so that's what I keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body. Does he work for the queen? Is that why he's a bee? You're in a room, you're... It's so funny. Everyone's so theatrical. I know I always make the joke about the prosecutors all having theater minors. Then we have these two dramatic people on the witness stand, plus Soseki. Basically, everybody's just so dramatic and everything. And then Ryunosuke like, am I the only normal person here? And then apparently his descendant was apparently a theater major, to my knowledge. I thought it was just art, but nah, it's... Phoenix originally studied theater, so... How the turns have tabled. Out of interest, Mr. Meterman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? Oh, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned. I'm eepy. I'm kinda hot, and can therefore discount the possibility of suicide.
How can you be sure of that?
The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself. Eeping kinda... it's a bit toasty in my room. It's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. Ah, yes. Lucidly explained, counsel, thank you. It really was, you can't argue with the logic.
Hold it!
You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella, so you can't be sure it was a defendant then? How many other short little round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself. When the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shamspear drink tea together? Did they both drink the tea? Eh? Sorry, I couldn't say. Why not? Because I couldn't see into the room all well, could I? What I did see was a silhouette of that little round-backed fellow wearing a pretty I need this. I need to see this. And the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it.
I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway.
Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question. Gasman's honor. Oh, is he gonna give another soliloquy? Or is that Natsume? Oh! Oh! My lord! Oh, is it summation examination time? I'd catch my mouth shut and listen up to now, but this has gone on long enough. You all with me?
Yes!
Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision? Right we have. Are you all with me?
Yes!
Wait, no! The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination! To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours the man followed the accused. That followed leaving the victim's room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it. But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I can see. And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer. Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow a top. What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Why do they keep putting that man on the jury? Very well, let the court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
All of you? Alright. I know this, we're kind of in the middle of a thing. I will do this examination tomorrow. I think I'm kind of warm in my room and I am hungry and eepy and a little warm. So I think we will just pause it there for tonight and pick up at this tomorrow. In fact, because yeah. He needs a divorce. The wife sounds awful. But yeah, we'll pick up with this tomorrow. But thank you all so much for being here. I need to fix, like, I don't know if it's like the white balance or something that's like messed up with the camera. It might also just be the fact that when the sun goes down, the lighting changes in the room and everything, and that might be why some of the, when I move and everything, whoa, the frames just die. But that'll be all for tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. We're getting there. We're making some progress. Yeah, thanks again. Let's see, is there anybody we can raid, mayhap? Let's see, is there? I will send you over to Nor. They're playing some Honkai Impact 3rd. Very fun. Oops. Let's read. Yeah, they're playing some Honkai Impact. Very fun, energetic streamer, fellow fan of Bungo Stray Dogs. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Have a great